Mundo is one of the oldest champions in League of Legends. His simple yet effective kit has always served in a niche part of the meta. In the times where Dr. Mundo has been OP have always been the times where grievous wounds have been difficult to purchase. In the current meta, items like Morellonomicon and Executioner's Calling are very cost-effective and easy to buy. The current jungle meta is completely dominated by early game gank jugglers such as Elise, Olaf, and Lee Sin. In theory, Mundo should not be very strong right now, but the #1 Mundo player in the world has decided to move Mundo into the jungle instead, and he has found far more success in Mundo jungle than in Mundo top, and he is currently the only Mundo player to be ranked in Challenger. This is how to play like a Challenger. Before we begin today's video, I'd like to talk about World War Do. It's a brand new mobile game that just launched, and though it's completely different from League of Legends, it's got one very similar mechanic. It's fucking addictive. My favorite part about World War Do is the body parts mechanic. The lower health your units are, the more body parts they're missing. It's very strange but hilarious to watch your commander on the ground as he's worming his way through the battlefield because he has no more arms and legs. It's got a fair progression system and tons of loot for new players. You can check out the link in the description and download it on the App Store today. And when you get online, make sure to join my club, League of Do. If you're a content creator like me and you want to see some sweet rewards, check out the World War Do Creator Extraordinaire program. Link will be in the description below. Just like Riot Games, the World War Do devs put a high priority on the competitive nature for their game. There will be an upcoming tournament featuring the best of the best World War Do players from around the world with a $25,000 prize pool. Check out the link in the description and download the game today. This is Striker. He is an EUS jungler and has peaked top 30 challenger in his region. In the interview I did, Striker makes it clear that he is not by any means a one-trick pony. As a jungler who has played in a semi-professional setting, he is no stranger to having playing champs for his team comp. So why does Striker choose to play a tank jungler like Mundo rather than a gank-heavy jungler like Elise, Olaf, or Lee Sin that's able to solo carry a little better? During our interview, Striker makes specific mention of one particularly opinionated man with a Korean fetish.
Elise is so bad, she ruins so many draft spots, the same fucking way that Lee Sin ruins so many draft spots. These are such cancerous and plague champions. No, they're fucking not. They're not good. They make the opponents have to make mistakes, and if the opponents don't make mistakes, you end up going into fucking mid-game with double Ruby Crystal on Lee Sin, building a fucking Black Cleaver when your teammates are oftentimes dealing magic damage, or you have a fucking Elise that has Runagecko and a goddamn stopwatch down 4 levels from the enemy top laner and the mid laner, and you think she's a good pick. You know what's really good? Being fucking 3 levels up on the enemy jungler and having a scaling champion inside of the jungle, like fucking Talia, or even Kindred in that regard, or Karthus, or fucking coronavirus-esque plague of jungle champions in the fucking... Like, I don't even know what's going on.
While League's #1 Korea Boo is not always right, Striker agrees with him on the point of scaling champions. Striker prefers these farm-heavy junglers. The ability to scale well into the mid-late game and actually be useful in teamfights is a different style of jungling as opposed to the traditional gank jungler. The main weakness of Mundo is that he's a stats champion. You're just a giant ball of numbers. If you have more items and more stats, you win 10 times out of 10 against the enemy jungler. Simply put, if you're behind, you're going to lose. You need to make sure that you either stay ahead or even on Mundo at all times. Why does Striker prefer Mundo jungle as opposed to Mundo top? Top lane Mundo is handicapped by the minions and tower in lane. While Mundo is a great 1v1er, he needs time and space to be able to run down the enemy champion. His kit is revolved around sustained fights, and that happens more often when you're in the jungle as opposed to when you're in the top lane. Once you get a lead on someone like Mundo, it is very hard to lose that lead. Besides dodging his cleaver, there's not much you can actually do. In order to be ahead and stay ahead as Mundo jungle, Striker makes use of Mundo's amazing farming and clear speed. Though he has difficulty in the first few early levels, Mundo is actually one of the fastest jungle clearers in the entire game. His W gives him constant damage to kill the little minions in the jungle. His E pretty much gives him constant bonus AD, and with all these tools, Mundo becomes a very strong counter jungler. He clears camps very quickly and he's not afraid of dueling. Striker maxes E first on Mundo. When your E is maxed on Mundo, it gives you anywhere between 100 to 200 extra bonus AD. That means you absolutely shred objectives. And though Mundo is a full tank jungler, you can clear objectives to similar speeds of damage junglers. Here is the most optimal clearing route for a Mundo jungle. Start with Hunter's Talisman and Refillable Potion and start your Raptor camp. This will give an advantage to your bot lane and top lane because they'll be able to get to the lane first. If anyone on the enemy team is not familiar with Mundo jungle, they won't be able to guess where he starts. Put a point into your W and start doing the Raptors camp. The healing you get from Talisman is enough that you'll be able to clear the Raptors camp at a good amount of HP. Once the small Raptors are nearly dead, kite back and let the burn finish them off so you don't take extra damage. Then kill the final Raptor with a few more autos. Put a point into your E next so you get the bonus AD from clearing a single camp. Then finish off the rest of the camps on your red side. Smite the Krugs so that you don't die to them, and then back to buy Hunter's Machete. After that, you go into your bot side jungle and do Wolves into Gromp into blue buff. Once that's finished, you'll be able to walk into River and do Scuttle Crab. Doing all of these things will often give you an advantage against the enemy jungler and allow you to roam and get into his jungle. With the exception of Olaf, Mundo wins pretty much every single 1v1. One of the most common things to do is to get a gank in the early levels. Getting a kill in the early game can be the difference for a lane, but for the jungler themselves, they're not often going to get too much off of it. Mundo goes where he pleases, and when you have a level lead on the enemy jungler, that is not going to change. Mundo cannot get extended early game 1v1s in the top lane due to minions and turrets. But in the jungle, you can get that extended 1v1. If you catch someone out in your jungle or you're in time for a counter gank, you have plenty of space to be able to run someone down. As Striker says, you need to have amazing basics in League of Legends to be able to be a good Mundo player. You have to have good map awareness, you have to be able to track the enemy jungler well, you have to know when the enemy jungler is going to be ganking so that you can counter gank. There's nothing to hide behind, essentially. In comparison to other tank junglers such as Sejuani or Zac, even if you fall behind, you'll still be somewhat useful to your team simply based off the fact that you're going to be a little tanky and you're going to have some hard CC. If your team is able to get fed by themselves, you'll still be able to peel and help them carry. Mundo doesn't have any of these tools. He relies solely on the player themselves. If you win as Mundo, it's not because your champion was unbalanced or overpowered. It's because you were able to counter jungle them effectively, find them and catch them when they were out of position, and find yourself a lead while holding on to it. Here's your build on Mundo. Start Hunter's Talisman and Refillable Potion if you intend to start the Raptors camp. The Raptor start is the fastest way of clearing camps. If you feel like you're going to get invaded early on red side, you can start Machete instead and start E and do the blue buff first. During your first back, you buy whichever jungle item that you did not start with, and then you rush Bammy Cinder into Cinder Hulk. For your core items, you want Spirit Visage, Ninja Tabby, and Demon's Plate. The value that you get from Spirit Visage is so good that oftentimes it's worth going into even if the opponents only have one AP champion. If you just get Ninja Tabbies and Spirit Visage, the increased healing on your ultimate and your passive can actually make you more tanky in the mid game. And for your other items, you just want more bulk and more tank. If you're really ahead and you're extremely confident, you can get Wit's End to carry a little harder. For your runes, go into the Precision Tree and get Fleet Footwork, Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand. Fleet Footwork helps give you the sustain that you need for those early jungle clears. It gives you a little more movement speed in a gank to be able to stick onto your opponents. And overall, it's just the safest keystone that you can take on this champion. Triumph gives you a ton of HP when you stack health. Legend Tenacity stacks on top of your W Tenacity so you can just walk through CC. And Last Stand synergizes really well with your E since you'll do more damage when you're low. For your secondary tree, go into the Inspiration Tree and take Magical Footwear along with Approach Velocity. For your rune stats, get Attack Speed, Armor, and HP. For your abilities, max E, Q, then W. This ability max is the quickest way to deal the most damage on Dr. Mundo. Mundo looks like a retard, sounds like a retard, can be played by a retard, but only great junglers can take this champion and make him retardedly hard to play against. Mundo's biggest weakness is if you fall behind, you're completely useless. A big ball of stats with no stats is no champion at all. If you're a good player and you can actually get ahead and get a lead, not only can you go wherever you please, you can go into anyone you please. Mundo's build is always the same, pure HP and pure tank. His damage scales off HP and everything in his kit scales off HP. When pro players get a lead, they will often buy tank items so that they can't get shut down and give their bounty away. Mundo naturally buys these items anyway, so when he gets a lead, it becomes even harder to shut him down. It is absolutely the best thing in the world to get on top of an AD carry's face and just sit on them. They will try and peel you, they will try and buy grievous wounds against you, but because you're ahead on Mundo, it doesn't matter. When other junglers get fed, they can blow up a squishy AD carry when they're out of position. But when you're fed as Mundo, you can just go on an AD carry when they're in position. In a sense, Dr. Mundo is kind of like the tanky version of Master Yi. Farm heavy, self-reliant, dueling-based champ, scales well, and when he gets ahead, he is unstoppable from the enemy team. Mundo goes where he pleases, and with Mundo, you can go into any elo you please as well. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much to Striker for doing the interview. You can check him out at twitch.tv/Strikerthebest. You can also follow him on Twitter at Strikerthebest as well. Both links will be in the description below. If you want to support me, you can follow me on Twitter at Donghuaplol and discord.gg/Donghuap. Like, share, and subscribe. And that's it. Bye.